Hello, everyone. It's your host, Boomstick, and the head admin of the Buffalo Sabres, and we are here at episode number 5 of the NHL 365 podcast, and we are live with 4 admins for tonight's cast, and I have on my camera view, and on my left, we have hashtag Blades of Buffalo, the second or third, I think, head admin of the Buffalo Sabres. Say hello.
Hi.
And then we have on my left, we have our not only improved squad, but our newest Vancouver Canucks admin, a.k.a. Canucks Militia. Say hi, dog.
Hey.
And finally, on my right, we have the one and only the one that never shows up, hashtag Game Price We Trust, and she's the head admin of the Montreal Canadiens.
So,
Alrighty, guys. So let's get this fun night started, shall we? Alright, we're going to talk about Garret Ross. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers, if they can actually dethrone the Detroit Red Wings. We're going to talk about Jonathan Drouin, once again, sleeping, doing his typical bullshit. And we're going to talk about logos requested by Blades of Buffalo, and no Canadian team for the playoffs this year. And we all celebrate with a big chocolate cake. How does that sound?
well, what about, yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds good. All
Next
right.
year, I bet all Canadian teams will make playoffs.
No, I think just you guys.
Except for Toronto, because I hate Toronto so much.
What about Edmonton?
Edmonton, they will make playoffs within the next few years.
They should just be called the Edmonton Maple Leafs because of how shitty they are.
Hey, they ain't that bad.
Yep, so let's get our analytics and biases over the start. So, let's talk about Garret Ross, the Blackhawks prospect. And over the week, I think it was yesterday afternoon, it was reported that he was being charged for revenge pornography or some shit like that.
What?
Yeah, literally, this happens. Yeah.
This actually makes news.
Yes, this is legit news. It's the Blackhawks. Anything related to the Blackhawks always comes up. You'll be fine. Hey, it's not my fault that I'm sending out pornography to the,
You?
No, not me.
Who just said you?
That's not what I was talking
Well, you
about.
just said it.
Not me. But anyway, so, Garret Ross, what's your opinion about this stuff?
Hold on, I just want to see what he got suspended over again. Garret Ross got suspended for a revenge porn charge.
Revenge porn? I've never heard such a trial. Jesus, you might as well say child pornography. Join Jared Fogle in prison. Get his ass beat. Yeah, what do you think about that? Does that sound like fun?
What I think the Blackhawks actually did the right thing. And to be honest with you, young kid, yes, an argument can be made that he made a mistake. But when you're an athlete, even if it's just your state or province or even your county, there are a lot of eyes on you. So you can't be making these mistakes because you're under a microscope.
That's true.
I agree with that.
I mean, let's be honest. This is a Blackhawks prospect. We're not talking Patrick Kane. We're not talking Joe Sakic or Sidney Crosby. You got to think to yourself, why would a prospect who's never probably going to touch the Blackhawks ice surface ever in his career get in charge for, revenge porn? Like, what's the revenge on? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out still. I mean, what is it there? Like, what's the whole story behind it? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I know that he was charged and suspended by the Blackhawks for that particular reason, but is there a real reason why he would be doing this?
I read an article saying that he shared a photo of some lady and he got suspended for that because he posted the photo without that lady's consent onto social media.
This is Garret Ross.
Just
State.
in Garrett Ross, and you will see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got the article right here just to summarize for you. It says Blackhawks forward Garret Ross, who's not even in the freaking NHL right now, probably spending his time with Rockford or whatever shit it is been charged with one felony count of non-consensual, this is mentioning, of private sexual images, or AKA revenge porn. Back in August, it was confirmed that the players shared a photo of a woman engaged in a sexual act, which was obtained under circumstances which Ross should have known the image was to remain private, though that they have been about the case for some time. And the Blackhawks have now just pulled him out from the Rockford High Sox lineup in the PR move, and now they're suspending him long term, I think. That's just ridiculous. I mean, if I were the Blackhawks, I would just put him on waivers next year. You know, I mean, that's just my personal perspective. Because if the Sabres were to pull this shit off, like if Evander Kane pulled this shit off, he would be off the roster by now. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but if you think about it, putting him on waivers, that allows another team to pick him up. And especially with him being a young kid, if another team picks him up, this is something he may forget, and he may have a similar incident happen in the future. But if he stays on suspension indefinitely, depending on the outcome of the trial, which is, I believe, how the article was put, then he may not, in reality, if he gets charged, I mean, if the charges go through, depending on what sentence he gets, he may never play hockey again. So to be honest with you, they are making a steeper penalty by suspending him indefinitely than by putting him on waivers. Because put him on waivers, he could be on the ice again as soon as September.
September, but that's if he comes out of training camp successful. Because in the end of the day, he's probably not going to probably get sent to Rockford or something like that.
Just to clarify the definition of revenge porn, it is non-consensual spreading of private sexual images, which is a class 4 felony, which is kind of high. So that does equal plenty of prison time if charged.
Which
Just so y'all know.
I would believe that he's going to get charged because, let's be honest, this is probably the first time in my 23-year lifespan out of the next 85 years that I've heard somebody say revenge porn. Like, who could technically get in trouble for sending out fucking porn in the middle of whatever? Like, seriously. The only other person I could think of that could pull off some sort of porn crap is frickin' Brett Favre. That's the only other guy I could think of that could pull this crap off.
Excuse me. Watch what you say.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot you were a Packer fan.
It's a Walker all-time great.
Yeah, but he's also the biggest... Yeah, but considering he's an all-time great sex scandal. Boom.
No.
Yes.
He is a franchise all-time great.
Fine, okay.
Even though he played for Minnesota by Queens towards the end of his career.
Oh, boo-hoo. But that's not what we're here to talk about, of course. I mean, Brett Favre isn't that scandal, but Garret Ross, though. Well, and here's an opinion for you guys, and this includes you. Does he ever touch the ice surface again?
Shouldn't.
Shouldn't?
Shouldn't.
I say no.
No?
We all agree now.
I agree with all of you, you know. If a guy did that on the Buffalo Sabres, I think everybody would hate on him. Garret Ross should be embarrassed of what he's done. I mean, how old is the guy? Like 23, 24?
Garret Ross
Around
is
that.
23 years old.
Okay, so I was about... He's the same age as...
24.
You're almost 24? I mean, I'm 23 and I'll be 24 in a couple of months. But...
And I'm the only 18-year-old.
Don't worry. You got a bigger life ahead of yourself.
Oh,
But-
I'm saying he is almost 24. I'm probably the old one in the room, being 34.
Oh, they said 24 earlier.
20. I'll be 21 in less than a month. So happy.
Yeah, right.
You mean yeah, right? I think I know my own birthday.
Don't worry. I'll take you out. I
Yeah,
promise.
right.
Yeah, I will. I got plenty of surprises for you coming.
Yeah, right.
No, don't worry. I'll get you a whole box of.
Yeah, right.
I'll leave you a box of.
I'm gonna say it now. Yeah, right. Everything you say, yeah, right. It's been your phrase today. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And you guys just have to deal with him through like the chat. I have to deal with him in real life.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, right.
Yep, that's great. Next thing you know, I'm gonna get you a box of liquor that says to Brittany.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. So, any last comments about Garret Ross, guys?
I think that they should not focus on the fact that he's an athlete and stay focused on what the charge is, because a lot of people do that when it comes to professional whatever players.
Yes.
So, right? Thank you. That's what the law should like be blind to what their status is and just be like, okay, this is what happened, charge him on that, you know?
I agree with that.
People don't do that when they have high names in football, hockey, whatever sport you want to put at.
I mean,
So.
if you're a multi-millionaire, you can easily get out of shit. Like, if this happened to Tom Brady or Sidney Crosby or Ovechkin, they'd be like, oh, don't worry, I got all this money. Let me just get myself out.
Tom Brady, yeah, right.
It's true.
Yeah, right.
I hate Tom Brady.
I know.
Who cares for Tom Brady? I
Brady-
hate the Patriots. I hate the Bears. I hate most of the NFC North. Love my Packers. And I never hate any team from New York.
I don't think anybody likes the Patriots unless you're a Patriot fan.
I agree with
Same
that.
with the Rangers. Nobody likes the Rangers unless you're a Rangers fan.
But the problem is we live in New York,
I
and there's a
know.
lot of Rangers fans.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
I was a Patriots fan until
I
started
wouldn't admit
watching the
that.
Broncos games.
I wouldn't admit that.
She's gonna kill you. Yep. But
It's funny. I never followed football, so whenever people would ask me who my NFL team was, or whoever my NFL team was, I had only actually heard of the Patriots, so I would just throw the Patriots at them just so it looked like I followed football. I get taken to a CFL game for the Toronto Argos. I become a fan of theirs. That season, nothing. The next season, they win the 100th Grey Cup. I don't pay attention to the NFL.
Argos. Sorry,
Well,
Thomas.
that's
a
allowed.
Montreal Alouettes
You're
fan.
a Montreal person.
I hate
So
we're just still sitting
so-
bicker.
any Toronto
Heroes North.
sports team in pro sports.
So I I watched a Broncos game last season. Decided, you know what? I'm getting hate on for claiming to be a Patriots fan, so I'll pick the Broncos. This year, they win the Super Bowl, or
That's
they
true.
did, didn't they? Yeah, I
The Broncos won the
Wasn't-
last Super Bowl.
Yeah, not too long ago either. So good for the Broncos, but I think they just completely rigged that game. But I guess you could say, good for them on Denver's perspective. What you're looking at.
What am I, the sports lucky charm or something?
Yep.
Any last comments, guys, about Garret Ross before we move on?
Next.
Next? Alrighty. One topic I forgot to put on this list, and thank God one of our Canucks admins, besides Thomas, we have another guy named Thomas, and he's not in this podcast. He mentioned in the comments...
Shout out to other Thomas.
Yep, sorry. Hashtag Bo knows he's the second Canucks admin, and he sent me this text saying that Ilya Kovalchuk is going to be rumored to be joining an expansion team regarding the country of China, which I believe is either in the KHL or it's in another league. And whatever team, I think it's called the SKA Petersburg or whatever the hell they're called, declined that off the rumor about Kovalchuk leaving. And they're also saying that he's not returning back to the National Hockey League / not playing for the Devils. So what do you guys think? But Kovalchuk's not coming back, so...
Well,
Honestly,
it's
I
up
look at
to
it like this.
What?
You go ahead.
it's up to Kovalchuk really. His decision. He decides who to play for.
That's
So
true.
he's playing in China?
Yeah, he wants to go to a China team. That's being.
China has hockey?
Yeah, they're gonna. No, she just whispered in my ear. She says China has a hockey team. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be an expansion team next year.
Is it right now, is it?
Next year.
So it's not. So I'm not a complete idiot. It's not yet.
I never said
Oh
you
my
were an
lord.
idiot. Oh,
The
God.
only expansion I care about is NHL expansion.
You're not an idiot. I didn't say that.
You're acting like, oh, you should have known that.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
No, I swear. Anyway, so Kovalchuk's taking his $77 million contract to China now.
Bye.
Bye. And there's probably a good reason why the Devils didn't want him back anyway, because he got that greedy.
Is he cocky?
Yes, he is. He's also arrogant. He's already been scratched for like 4 games in the playoffs.
You know what? You know what? Maybe he decided he just wants to play for the love of hockey. I mean, that's got to be that's the only reason you could ever be interested in playing in China.
I mean, I've heard Chinese hockey teams, but to be fair, China is not crazy about the sport, but they do have an international team that got sent to Sochi in the Olympics 2 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
they did all right. I mean,
But again, Kovalchuk will never play for a Chinese team on an international level. So this is definitely and I'm in it for the game publicity move on his part.
I mean, this is not an international team, but this is more like a continental expansion team, kind of like what the NHL is doing with Las Vegas. This is the same exact thing right now.
I mean, Kovalchuk going to China, that's as much PR as if he went and coached a little league team. That's about what this boils down to, in my opinion.
I see. What do you think, Steph? I would let him go too. What do you think, Steph?
Um. And Kovalchuk, if the Devils still own his rights, whether he's out in or out of North America.
But you also got to remember, they're going to have to pay him till 2027. So, no, he was under contract for like 2010, signing like a 15, 17-year deal with them. And then,
Yeah, but this isn't going to happen until next year, right?
No, this China whole expansion team is not going to happen.
So next year is 2017. So wouldn't that end his contract?
The end of his contract with the Devils, because he's still under contract with them now. And he's still going to get paid. If he retires at 40 in the next couple of years, the Devils, no matter what, still have to pay him.
Until 2017. Is that like the end of season
No,
2017?
not 2017. 2027, they have to still pay him, not 2017.
2027?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
What contract did he sign?
17 years for 77 million.
1 sec.
17 years.
For 77 million. So he's going to be making about at least approximately
Sorry guys, my phone glitched out.
17 million per season, even if he's overseas.
So will he make money off of it, or just the Devils is paying?
Yeah, but the thing is, when he left the Devils, he was still under contract, but he went over to the KHL because he wants to get more money. So he's getting double the salary as he's right now in the KHL, and he's getting more money now. No, he was getting less money from New Jersey, and he made more money now in the KHL. And if he goes to the China team, that contract from New Jersey goes with him. So any team he plays for over in Europe,
he'll be getting double, so he'll get 2 paychecks.
Exactly.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
I have one?
Yeah, and on top of that, he claims like 3 years ago that he was gonna retire when really at 30 years old, and already he's saying, I have no interest in playing in the NHL next year. I'm gonna play in the KHL and make more money with the Devils. I mean, what do you guys think of that? Like, do you think it's fair for Kovalchuk to say that, or do you think that or do you think he should go? Do you think he should go to China, or do you think? Sorry, what? You were saying, Thomas?
I think it was.
Bobby,
I
can
think
you
it was kind of a
repeat
smart
what
move
you
on his
said?
part to get more money.
I believe so. I mean,
I think your thing's going like wacky.
yeah, I believe so. One of our connections not very good, but I think we'll be all right from there. But
I think we're just talking to ourselves right now.
yeah. But it doesn't matter. But as long as they hear the conversation, that's all that really matters to me. But in regards, as far as Kovalchuk's concerned, going to China, he's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. That's all that matters to him. All right. Any last minute comments about Kovalchuk?
No.
No. Right? No. Thomas?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So we covered Gary Ross. We talked about Kovalchuk. Let's talk about the Flyers. Does anybody here think, if you've been paying attention to the wild card race, does anybody think that the Flyers will dethrone the Red Wings and end their streak of making the playoffs?
I don't know if they're going to, but I want to see it happen.
Because as of right now, I'm gonna get the stats right up here on my phone for the playoff race for the Flyers. So this is gonna take a little while to load. But in regards, while that's loading, what does anybody think of? Like, does anybody think that Philly has an opportunity to at least take down Detroit from the race? In terms of getting into the playoffs.
I think the Flyers deserve to be in the playoffs
You think the Flyers deserve to be?
because it could end Detroit's streak.
I believe that too. I mean, and as of right now, as we speak, the Flyers are losing 1-0 to Colorado at 9:52 left in the second. And as for the standings go, we're getting that right now. And apparently, the Flyers right now are 2 points behind the Red Wings with a 35, 24, and 13 record with 83 points. And the Red Wings,
Flyers are ahead of the Red Wings.
on here it says the Flyers are ahead of them.
Look. Flyers are ahead of the Red Wings.
That's Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? Like, that's odd. Okay, can somebody do me a really quick favor
Let me see.
about the standings for the Red Wings and the Flyers? Can somebody check if that's an actual standing? Because Brittany's phone says the Flyers are ahead of the Red Wings, but my phone says the Red Wings are ahead of the Flyers.
No, the Red Wings are in the second wild card and Phillies in third of the wild card.
I'm on the Saber app. I don't think mine is.
Yeah, I agree with that. So right now, as we speak, the Red Wings are ahead of the Flyers.
Ooh, we're almost there too.
That means Philadelphia
We're going up there, yay!
has to win 2 more to get ahead of Detroit.
It's gonna take a lot, but I think it's gonna be a little bit challenging for Philly because Neuvirth's hurt. And I mean, let's be fair. Shane Gostisbehere is a monster.
They should
There
have.
we go. My phone's not being glitchy.
You think it's not glitching, Thomas?
Well, just as I said that, it started to glitch a little bit, but it's better than it was.
Yeah. So you heard the question before, right, Thomas?
About Philly and Detroit.
Like the question was, do you think the Flyers are gonna knock out the Red Wings for the wild card spot?
I'd like to see it happen.
You'd like to see it happen. So
Yes.
Steph believes the Flyers can make it, and you believe the Flyers can make it.
Let me see yours.
Let me see. Here's my.
Yeah, I think so because they should have a easy win against Arizona.
And on top of that, Philly has a really young squad. Detroit, on the other hand, has a bunch of young, guys that are aging. Henrik Zetterberg, Pavel Datsyuk. Those guys are all, aging pretty fast. And I don't think they're going to have the same mentality, in terms of coaching like they did with Mike Babcock. I mean, Jeff Blashill's not bad as a coach, but I just think that he's not going to really get this team over the hump when it comes to second round appearances. Because when was the last time the Red Wings made the second round of the playoffs?
I think it could happen.
What, Philly knocking out Detroit?
Yeah, because they're so close. Like maybe one win and one lose, they could switch. Flip flop.
Because this doesn't happen until April the 10th. Because
Oh yeah, definitely.
they have until then to do all that.
Definitely, they have 2 weeks.
I think
over 2 weeks.
I think the Flyers can definitely do it. I mean, as much as I hate Philly, but at the same time, I just think they're a better team right now than Detroit in terms of the playoff race. Because the Red Wings are dealing with injuries and the Flyers are dealing with injuries, so both sides are equal in terms of that. But like I said, I think the youth, which is Philly, is doing a lot better as they progress. I mean, Detroit has a lot of experience because they've been going to the playoffs for 23 straight years, which is a record, of course. But if they make the playoffs this year by just hanging by a thread, it'll be 24 years. Any what do you guys think? Anything about the Flyers? Stop.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Any last comments before we move on to the next category?
Not for me.
You?
Not from me. And Bobby, Rob is online.
He's already too late. I mean, I don't know where he is, so I'm not worried about Rob at the moment.
Can you just add people?
I can, but in fact, let me try to get him on. I doubt that he's probably not going to pick up, but I'll give him a try real quick. See what he's up for. Give him a sec. Let me type it in. Get Rob on here. Yeah, if he doesn't pick up, then I'm not worried about him. So, while we're on the topic of the Flyers, before we move on, I just want to say I truly think they're going to make it. I mean, we'll have to see what happens as the time frame goes. All right. Any last comments, guys, before we move on to the next topic?
Let's move on.
Move on. Move on, Thomas.
Yeah, same here.
Alrighty. Next topic is Jonathan Drouin. So, apparently over the week, I think it was yesterday, there were reports of him saying that he overslept on practice and he missed the team meeting as well. So, after just barely 2 months in this whole shit since November, he's been requesting a trade out of Tampa Bay, and the Lightning haven't really given him an opportunity to really explore his chances. But then at the same time, they're trying to find the best offer for him. But at most, he's very likely to be traded over the summer. I mean, let's face it, he's requested a trade in November, and then he skipped an AHL game on purpose, and now he says, yeah, the relationship was fine, and now they're saying that he slipped over practice and missed a team meeting. What do you guys think of this?
Why is that a penalty?
Why
if they oversleep or something?
Why is it a penalty or a suspension if they get sleep?
Yeah.
That's like asking you, why did you oversleep on a job? You were supposed to come in to work on a certain hour, and you had to be ready. It's the same thing.
I don't know. I think it's just harsh.
That's not harsh. I mean, it's like skipping class or skipping your working hours. It's the same exact thing. It's a job. I mean,
my opinion.
Fair enough. What do you guys think of Drouin?
I think Drouin deserves to be out of Tampa because of how much shit he's been through with Tampa Bay.
I mean, if anywhere, where does he end up?
I would say to a Canadian team if possible.
A Canadian team is possible.
Honestly,
if possible, maybe Edmonton he could help, because McDavid can just do all the work by himself.
That is true. What were you gonna say, Thomas?
I'm gonna be a little greedy here. You want to know where he should end up?
Vancouver.
Honestly, hold on. Only, and I stress only, if they can get his attitude in check. Because I don't I don't want to see Vancouver end up with a waste of salary, you know?
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, nobody in this league wants to touch him except for Tampa Bay. That's it. That's the only
Well,
team
then,
in
to
this
be
league.
honest,
I mean, there's so many options. I mean,
with you, just walk away.
walk away from what? The game or walk away from the Lightning?
Um, he doesn't want to be involved with them, and they're the only team that's willing to touch him right now. I say that both him and the Lightning office should just agree to absolve the contract.
I mean, let's be honest. Tampa Bay for the last 3, 4 years have went through so much crap. I mean, think about it. You get rid of Vinny Lecavalier. He went to Philly. He sucked there. Marty St. Louis got traded to the Rangers for Ryan Callahan. He only lasted 2 years there. And then from what Marty St. Louis had, he had a very good first year with the Rangers. And the second year, he just directly, like after that, he retired. And he was just mediocre. He didn't really perform in the playoffs. And now they're talking about bringing Steven Stamkos to the Buffalo Sabres or another team like the Toronto Maple Leafs if they don't get a negotiation going in from now to July 1st. I mean, they have till then to do all that. And now they're going to lose Jonathan Drouin. But it seems to me like the Tampa Bay Lightning are slowly just kind of moving away from their championship caliber team and just kind of get rid of everybody.
Fresh start.
That is true. I mean, it's so impossible to get rid of Steven Stamkos. It's hard to replace him because he's that good.
I've always thought that also.
That's true. There's always that one. There's always that one gem. What do you think, Steph?
Um, Stamkos even said he loves Tampa.
Stamkos?
He said, yeah, Steven Stamkos. He said that he loves Tampa Bay and he wants to stay in Tampa Bay. He doesn't want to leave.
I mean, I'm talking about regarding Drouin. I mean, do you honestly believe him about the comment he said about saying, "Oh, the relationship's fine, everything is fine." Like, do you believe him or no?
Uh, not really, because he will oversleep again. I have a gut feeling. Then we'll get suspended again by delaying
What time's what?
or the Syracuse Crunch, depending where he is.
No.
Oh, 9:30 in the morning. It's just their schedule. What did you say, Steph? I apologize.
I said, depending where Drouin is, if he oversleeps again, he might get suspended by either the Crunch or the Lightning
I mean,
again.
it doesn't really matter because the relationship in Tampa is so bad already. I mean, you might as well just let him walk.
Exactly.
Just let him walk, dude. Let him fucking walk. Or unless you get something for him. I mean, I know there was talks about Shattenkirk. I know there was talks about the Ducks throwing in some players. I heard there was Vancouver. I heard the Rangers, the Canadians. All these teams were mentioned in the trade rumors back at around the trade deadline, and nothing happened because they couldn't find a good deal. But to be fair, I think Druin's going to be moved over the summer no matter what happens. So even if he says, yeah, the relationship's fine, we all know he's full of shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal doesn't want to deal with a player like Drouin who is full of shit.
Everybody knows that he's full of shit. I mean, there's so much that every team can offer. I mean, I know Buffalo did this twice already. I mean, that's when they pull off the trade for Vander Kane and then somewhat with Ryan O'Reilly, but in the end, they don't need a third one. So, I mean, they're both happy in Buffalo, so that doesn't really bother me. And then, any last comments about Drouin, guys?
No.
No.
Nope. Alrighty. And we're down to our second to last topic. We're going to talk about the Canadian teams not making the playoffs and then logos. This was personally requested by this lady.
Logos.
Yep. And, okay, so Canadian teams, no Canadian teams in the 2016 playoffs so far. What do you guys think?
I think it sucks.
Sucks?
I think.
So,
Well, things will change for sure next year, but this is not the first time that the NHL has no Canadian team in the playoffs.
not to say it wasn't, but I think this is like the first time in like '87 where none of the Canadian teams have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Something like,
Oh.
I mean, if Carey Price didn't get hurt, and you admitted this in the last podcast, if Carey Price didn't get hurt, the Montreal Canadiens would be in the playoffs, the top 5 team in the NHL, regardless.
Yes.
And that's a true statement right there. I mean, I know you're a Canadiens fan, and I know you're a Canucks fan, but like, and we're Sabres fans, of course, but we're not Canadian. So, do you guys strongly do you guys strongly think that this is going to affect the Canadian market or the advertising or the market for the Canadian teams?
Why would it? It's one.
It's gonna
That
affect a
question-
little.
It's gonna what?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Thomas.
All I was going to say is that question is kind of a double-barrel shotgun. Because, honestly, and this gives me the perfect segue to something I've wanted to talk about for weeks, especially considering my phone is close to dying. Especially with the expansion being talked about, and whenever it happens, a confirmed team being in Las Vegas. I could honestly see, let's say, for example, 2016-2017 season, they bring in the Las Vegas, I forget what they're going to call them, but if they bring them in, I can honestly see a lot of fans with how fickle they are and how much it's teams must win to keep my being a fan. I can honestly see a lot of Canadian fans, fans of Canadian teams, looking at this new team and being like, here's a new team who needs fans. I kind of need a new team. And we lose fans.
And that's fine.
I'm sorry, but that is possible.
I mean, look what happened to Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta didn't work out so well, and yet people have that, like you just said, they need a team, but they don't care. That happened to the Thrashers. That's why they moved to Winnipeg, because the Jets were in need of a team, and there weren't enough Canadian teams at the time before the Winnipeg Jets, and that was wasted in the majestic lands of Atlanta, Georgia, and only lasting 11 seasons with one winning season, which was in 2006-2007, and that didn't really work out too well for them, didn't it?
What do you think this is?
Yeah, that didn't work out well.
I didn't know you were here. You're here all night?
It did not work out.
Really? Oh, sorry.
It did not work out
Man.
too well for Atlanta.
Wait, what? I didn't catch that last part, Steph.
It did not work out for Atlanta.
That's true. I mean, I don't think this Las Vegas idea is going to work out too well, because let's face it, for anybody, because I think most of the U.S. people that live in the United States or in some parts of Canada, or at least if you follow the United States in terms of who lives where, most people know that Las Vegas is a gambling city. And to put a team in Las Vegas pretty much shows that only Gary Bettman cares about is the salary in terms of money. And a lot of people are going to gamble on the new team's games. And they're going to lose money, especially if they're bad. Not a lot of people are going to be buying into it.
And if there is a team in Las Vegas, I will bet you they will not sell out every game like the Canadians do.
Unless you're the Florida Panthers.
Or that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that I think that a team in Las Vegas, they'll do really well for their first 5 years. Really well.
You think they'll do
Whether the
well?
team is playing or not. I think that the office, the finances, and all that stuff is going to fall in place for the first 5 years, and then you're going to see a team fold or be relocated.
Yeah, I don't think this Las Vegas team is going to work out too well. I mean, it's only a matter of time. What do you think?
What was the question? What was the topic again?
No Canadian playoff teams, but will it make a big impact going into the playoffs for next season? And then we're also talking about Las Vegas being a team.
Well, first of all, I think Las Vegas having a hockey team is just ridiculous, but that's besides the point. And as far as Canadians not being in the playoffs this year,
There's no Canadian team in the playoffs.
well, no offense to anybody who's Canadian fan, but why does it matter who's in the playoffs? Like, does it have to be American or Canadian or whatever?
Because Canada's a pretty strong market. I mean, if it's Montreal or...
Yeah, but I understand that, but there's other, like, how many other teams, in the league, so it doesn't have to be just the Canadian,
I get your point, but that's the point. There's not enough Canadian teams. It should be 15 Canadian teams and 15 U.S. teams, just to make it even,
Well, I don't think it matters, basically, about evenness as far as, Canadian and American.
So since I think... Okay, can I make one last statement before my phone dies?
Yes.
You feel there should be 15 and 15.
Yes.
Canadian, U.S.
Yes.
So, since I kind of like, because I'm a gambler on my own, since I kind of like the idea of a team in Las Vegas, do you mind if I adopt them as a Canadian team and take them as my second pick?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they were Canadian, I'd say... If they were Canadian, I'd say sure, but they're an American team. They're in the middle of nowhere in Nevada. So...
But I don't get why it matters as far as Canadian or American.
Because...
Like, they play the same sport, yes or no?
Obviously.
So then what's the difference,
The difference is that the salary cap is so compiled that the Canadian dollar doesn't work well in the NHL. And they can only do so much with the American because there's more American people in the NHL than more in the Canadian area. Because, like I said, there's only 7 in the league.
7 versus...
Out of 30 teams, there's only...
23 U.S., 7 Canadian.
I mean, that's not good. That's a very unbalanced or even number. I mean...
Yeah, but why would it matter if it's even?
Because... But anybody want to see Canadian teams in the playoffs? Of course.
Wait. What is the difference for the Canadian dollar versus the American? What's the difference between
Stop.
Stephanie, you know right?
What?
The noise.
It's him. Steph.
I think we
Well,
lost.
guys, I gotta go. My phone's telling me it's angry.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Alright, let's get him out. Steph, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, but I cannot see your camera.
That's okay.
We can't see you either.
That's alright. But anyway, repeat the question, Brent.
Oh, I was just asking Stephanie, what is the difference between the Canadian dollar versus the American dollar?
The Canadian dollar, it's because your $1 bill is our loonie. So, but every other
Our $1 is your what?
loonie. It's a
Loonie.
gold coin.
Oh. So is like your money worth more than ours as far as dollars or no?
In terms, yes, but most of the time, 80% of the time, the Canadian dollar is worth more. But right now, the Canadian dollar is not so great. But gas prices keep going up and down every single day.
Same here. So that might be why there's less Canadian teams, because their dollar is worth more than our dollar.
Yeah.
That could be a reason why there's less Canadian teams.
And their taxes are higher too.
So that could be why they don't have the money for it to expand their.
The Canadian tax, depending on the province, taxes are higher.
That is true. I mean, I just wish that it was even with the American tax rates, because this way there could be, at least like I said earlier, like 5 minutes ago, make it more balanced in terms of how many teams are in each province and state. 15 in the United States and 15 in Canada. I just think if it wasn't so lopsided in terms of, like I said, taxes, it'd be so much better. But then again, I can't really complain, because it's nice to see a team in New York and in Buffalo and in all those other cities. But it's just kind of sad, because is most of the Canadian market filled, or I know there's a room for a team for Quebec City, but is there really any other city that could be required for a Canadian team?
I could see Hamilton having one.
Hamilton?
Yeah, because there are like a mix of Sens and Leafs fans in Hamilton right now.
Yeah, I hear you. What did you say?
No, I was asking. Isn't Montreal and Quebec like right next to each other?
Yes.
And what?
I mean,
I don't know. I was gonna say something stupid, but I just realized.
yeah, I mean, they should just bring back the Nordiques, but it's going to be a little bit challenging. The only real possibility I see the Quebec Nordiques coming back here is if they relocate the Carolina Hurricanes. That's the only way I see it happening.
Why the Hurricanes?
Because they're not getting enough fans going into the games. They're not getting enough tendency, unlike the Florida Panthers. I'm not saying the Panthers aren't great in tendency either, but Carolina's in more cusp of being relocated than Florida at this point, because the Panthers have a lease till 2021, so they still have a lot of time to improve from that time frame if they're good for the next 5-6 years. I mean, for the Hurricanes, when was the last time they were good? 2009?
The last time they were good is when they won the Stanley Cup.
I mean, they made the conference finals that one year in 2009, but then you're right, they won the cup in 2006, but I don't think that really matters at this point. What matters really is, the cap space that they have, because they have one of the lowest cap space teams in the league, and on top of that, they don't really have a good fan base either in terms of attendance per games and stuff, because Raleigh's a little bit of a challenge to get around. Not that I've never been to Raleigh, but just from looking at the tailgates, they could use a lot of that majestic spacing from when they use the tailgates to use for more cars. They should just go from there. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't think Carolina was ever really a hockey market, but I understand there are people like Rob and Jerry who are big Hurricanes fans, and they show support for the group on here as usual, but I understand what they're going through. I mean, Carolina's not an easy place to adapt to when it comes to, rebuilding in terms of tendency, in terms of getting a fan base, in terms of making money. I mean, I think they get at least maybe 7,000 to 8,000 fans a night. I mean,
see, you want another problem? Is that looking at the teams like on a map, they don't have just about the whole East Coast is covered with hockey teams, as far as United States and Canada. And I think they have to separate it more,
because they're supposed to be doing a realignment. Because a couple years ago, before I made this page, the Red Wings used to be in the West, and the Columbus Blue Jackets used to be in the West. And the Winnipeg Jets were in the East for a little while, but then they put the Jets in the West, and then they put the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets in the East because they complained about the standard time for their games.
This whole top area, they probably don't even know what hockey is.
It's like the Midwest, like near like Seattle and Oregon and all that.
See, I don't know. Stephanie, can you see this?
I never done the podcast on my dad's computer before.
Yeah, so for those of you who are wondering about this map, crap. Yeah, bring that back up. Okay, yeah. Let me bring that back up, guys. Yeah, sorry. So this is the map of the entire league, and Brittany was saying that there's more teams being shoved out East Coast than there are in the West. They should at least use half of those teams in the Midwest. At least move some of them.
And that's why their fan base is so, I don't want to say biased, but like I said, the whole by Oregon and like everything, they probably don't even know what hockey is because they don't have like any like hockey teams over there, you know.
I mean, they have like Western Hockey League teams and ECHL teams, like development junior teams. Like those, are what they have, but they're not professional. Seattle was in talks about having a team for a while, but they're having troubles with that. Las Vegas was mentioned, of course. I think they're the likely front runners to win.
I think it's stupid to put a hockey team in Las Vegas.
I agree with you. I think that if any team
It'd be
deserves,
a waste of money.
I believe that too. I mean, I think if any team deserves any scrutiny to get a team back, it's Quebec City. I mean, they're the only ones I believe that can get a team. But everybody is so destined to see them come back, and I understand. You know, they want to put the team in Quebec City, but it's the Canadian dollars that's really, putting them down.
Yeah, that's the problem. But within the next couple months, the Canadian dollar will be back up.
Oh God, that's gonna cause more problems for the Canadian dollar. And so we pretty much covered everything. We have one last request.
We can talk about another time.
Yeah.
But it's already 50 minutes.
Yeah. So the logos. I know you said you wanted to talk about logos.
We'll do it next time.
Are you sure?
We'll do it next time.
Yeah. So does anybody have any final requests before we all log out for the evening?
No.
No. Red?
No.
Alright, so sorry guys if this was a little short. Usually our podcasts are nearly close to an hour, and we're only 10 minutes short of being an hour. But I think the next time we'll do a podcast is probably going to be around Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep, Saturday night around like 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I know this was a pretty short podcast, but just bear with us. Yeah, so I guess, if there's any more topics we talk about within the next 48 hours, we'll cover them. So how does that sound, guys?
All right.
That sounds great.
Sounds-
I should be home way before 9:30, 10 on Saturday because my hockey finals are at 4.
Fair enough. And we're going to sign out now. So this is hashtag Boomsdig, the head admin of the Buffalo Sabres.
This is signing out. Hashtag in price we trust.
And then finally.
Blades of Buffalo.
And all three of us are signing out. And we will talk to you guys later. Peace out, guys.